I wanted to ask you, Mr. Lando, is President Trump a Russian asset?
Absolutely not, Senator. He's the President of the United States, duly elected by the American people.
Well, the reason I ask is many people back home have been asking me this question. And they say, if he was an asset, we would see exactly what he's doing now. For example, he proceeded to forward or express from the Oval Office propaganda that has been Russian propaganda, that Ukraine started the war, that Zelensky is a dictator. Second of all, he gave away key things on the negotiating table before the negotiations even started, ensuring U.S. would absolutely oppose any possibility of NATO membership for Ukraine. Third, he's cut off the arms shipments to Ukraine, completely undermining their ability against a massive neighbor next door with short supply lines and huge resources. Fourth, he's undermined the partnership with Europe, which has been essential to security over the last 80 years, a major goal of Putin's. And then he's done everything to discredit and dismean Zelensky on the international stage with the just shameful press conference in which he teamed up with the vice president to attack Zelensky. I can't imagine that if he was a Russian asset, he could do anything more favorable than these 5 points. What else could a Russian asset actually possibly do that Trump hasn't yet done?
Senator, the President has made it absolutely clear that his top priority is to try to bring peace and end an absolutely savage war. I know you're familiar with the savagery. This is turning into World War I style trench warfare now in eastern Ukraine. The President is an exceptionally gifted deal maker. He is probably the only individual in the entire universe that could actually stop this. The President understands, as part of his deal
Well,
making,
let's turn to another of the
you
folks
have to
here.
carrots and sticks.
Thank you very much, since you're now off the topic I was raising. Mr. Whitaker, these 5 things that the President has done that are so favorable to Putin and so damaging to Ukraine and to our partnership with Europe, do you approve of them?
Well, Senator, thanks for that question. I'm just going to have to politely disagree with you on those 5 things and the way you've framed them. You know, the war in Ukraine would have never happened if President Trump was president in 2022. The war in Ukraine happened because of Joe Biden's weakness after his
I don't think
withdrawal
that
from
was the question I
Afghanistan.
asked, but maybe you could some other time go on television and express those points of view. But do you mind just answering the question I asked? Do you agree with the 5 things that President Trump has done, starting with him expressing Russian propaganda from the Oval Office?
Well, you know, again, as I mentioned to your colleague, I am not here to assign labels. We're in the middle of a very important peace negotiation.
Okay,
I agree
thank
with Ambassador.
you. I do hope that we have an administration that works to get the very best deal for Ukraine, but what a Russian asset would do would be to work to get the very best deal for Russia, and that appears to be exactly what Donald Trump is trying to accomplish.
One thing you have to understand, though, guys, and that is that Donald Trump has certain affection or affinity with President Putin. A lot of people, they ask this question, why? And the answer we get is because Vladimir Putin has some dirty laundry of Donald Trump on him. He knows a lot of things that Donald Trump has hidden from the public. In other words, am I talking about Donald Trump being blackmailed by Putin? Exactly, that it is. That is what a lot of people are talking also about. That perhaps Putin knows, just like Netanyahu, secrets about Donald Trump, especially when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. I'll not play the rest of the video. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. See you in the next one.